Week one for your Clemson Tigers has ended with a loss to the Duke Blue Devils in embarrassing fashion. How? What are my thoughts? What are the instant reactions? I'm going to tell you next on the Locked On Clemson podcast.
You are Locked On Clemson, your daily podcast on the Clemson Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Clemson family? Welcome back to the Locked On Clemson podcast, your daily podcast covering your Clemson Tigers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your boy, Damian Parson, always on the ones and twos. You can find and follow me on Twitter at DP_NFL. I am the founder of the Scouting Room, as well as part of the co-host team of the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. Guys, thank y'all for making Locked On Clemson your first listen today and every day. Thank you for being my everydayers and my Clemson Tiger family, guys. Appreciate you guys tapping in. As always, man, we have a instant reaction show. When you're listen, I'm recording this at about 11:40 Monday night for Tuesday. So when you wake up, this is what you're listening to: my raw, unadulterated reaction to what we just watched on Monday Night Football, college football edition. But guys, we have this show to get into and everything. We're going to talk about offensive miscues. Okay, offense definitely shot themselves in the foot multiple times. Garrett Riley, one question: what was that? And are the Clemson Tigers better than this? Right? Are they better than what we just saw tonight? We're going to get into all of that in just a moment. But today's episode of Locked On Clemson has been brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/Locked On College or enter the promo code Locked On College for a free water bottle with any purchase. You will not want to take off your Bird Dogs, we promise you. The Clemson Tiger offense went full Plexico Burris, right? What did Plexico do, while he was still playing in the league, in the club in New York? He shot himself, right? And that's what the Clemson Tigers did over and over and over again. They shot themselves in the foot. So let's really look at the full scheme of this. A block field goal from the kicker that we heard from Dabo being in camp. This kid could kick 70. You had a chance to let him try and kick 68. You didn't. And you actually threw a pass that actually had no chance of garnishing any type of positive results. So this young man, freshman, I think he's a true freshman, first field goal attempt blocked. Second field goal attempt, I don't know if someone got a hand on it, but it was shanked. It was shanked. Okay. Like I was watching an episode of The Wire. Like it was shanked to the left. All right. So now, okay, that's 6 points. All right, whatever, 6 points. But then you go and you get into the third quarter, dominant third quarter by your Clemson Tigers. Over 151 yards rushing or 160 yards rushing in the entire quarter. They had 14 to 15 snaps in Duke Blue Devil territory. They outsnapped Duke's offense just by their red zone or their Duke territory snaps compared to the snaps that Duke actually had in the third quarter. Because I remember hearing that during the commentary during the game, and both times you get to the red zone, you get there the first miscue in the red zone in the third quarter was a fumble by Cade Klubnik off of the zone read. Garrett Riley, why? Why was you constantly running that? Oh my goodness. Oh my God. The headache this thing gives me. Okay. So you go to zone read. But before that, Cade Klubnik was finding a rhythm. The run game was going, the passing game was going. He was 3 for 3 for 36 yards on that drive. Got him down inside the 5, and we go to zone read, mesh point, QB read in the backside end. Cade holds it, and then tries to yank it out, and the ball drops on the ground, and Duke jumps on top of it. All right. Good job by the defense. They go out. right? They go out and I think it was a 3-and-out, forced to punt. And it was, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a bad punt. So they put them at like the 40 or something like that, right? Okay, cool. Now offense driving again, gets back into the red zone. I'm sorry, guys, because this is comical to me because this doesn't make any sense. Get back into the red zone, and you have a situation. You run the ball, try to run a little like inside zone. Tristan Lay, the starting left tackle, first time starter, who did not have the best did not have the best game, did not have the best game. I don't know if he was trying. I don't know if the defensive lineman tried to shoot across his face, tried to shoot into the gap, but he engaged him, had his hands latched and everything, and then he does this number here, torques and turns the lower body or his hips and his torso, and as he's kind of almost slamming him to the ground, Phil Maffa runs right in that direction, and I think the defender or somebody, I think the defender's helmet or Tristan Lay's body knocked the ball out. Ball, goes flying backwards. Duke's DB or whoever, I think safety or whatnot, picked it up. Shout out to K Club and his effort to run that guy down. He ran track. I kept telling you guys that he ran track, and it was clear this day because he hawked the guy down and kept it from being a touchdown. But yes, like the Clemson Tigers turned into Plexico Burrs in that club in New York City and shot themselves. Not just one time. They didn't just shoot themselves in the leg, right? Carrying a handgun into a club and like, you know what? I'm not supposed to have this here, but I'm going to shoot myself as well. No, they didn't just do that. They shot themselves in the foot. At one point, they shot themselves in the left foot. They went back to the right foot, took out the right knee, and everything like that. And then one more mistake, they shot themselves in the left thigh. So at this point, they couldn't walk. There's no way you could walk through that. And that's what happened, guys. Offensive miscues. Just Cade started out kind of amped. And when I talk about weathering the storm, not just the emotion of the crowd and Duke's players, but your own emotions. He was amped. He was he missed high early on and everything, but it just was. Oof. It was bad. It was bad that the to get into Duke's defensive territory, into their red zone, as many times. I think that at one point I saw the graphic. It was like Duke was, I think they were only like maybe 0 of 1 in the red zone. It shows how great the defense was playing for the most part. And then on the flip side, Clemson was 1 of 4 at the time in terms of TD to red zone possession. They only had 1, and that was the only score they had. So when you look at the situation, and again, offensively, 40 carries, 213 yards, 5.3 yards per carry. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like what is this? You want to know that's a good question. Garrett Riley? What is this? I need to know what this is, and I'm going to ask about this. We're going to talk this through, guys. We're going to talk through this therapy session and get ready for Charleston Southern and his cupcake, because the next 2 weeks they better score 80 points. They better go full Oregon, Oklahoma. From what we saw week 1, I need to see a shutout. I need to see 80 points. I need to see them beat up on some inferior competition, feel better about themselves, and get ready for Florida State in 3 weeks. But we're going to ask Garrett Riley what that was that we just saw coming up next on the Locked On Clemson podcast. Guys, let me tell you about Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs make me look good, so I think they're going to make you look good as well. You're going to love their stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and the leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Their shorts do the exact same thing as Lululemon's, but they fit way better, including fitting better than those regular shorts that are made from the stiff, restricting cotton that we've been accustomed to, because Bird Dogs use a cloud knit fabric that looks like khakis, but they stretch to give you that way slimmer fit without sacrificing all the movement. Bird Dogs use an anti-stink and sweat wicking fabric that you will love, especially in the hot summer days, because it keeps you cool and dry all day long. Guys, I'm gonna take one of my favorite things from Bird Dog is this tumbler that they sent me when I made my order. So go to birddogs.com/locked on college or enter the promo code locked on college at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/locked on college for a free water bottle at checkout. You will not want to take off your Bird Dogs. We promise you. Offensive coordinator Garrett Riley. What was that? Talk to me. What was that? I didn't. The run game, magnificent, absolutely physical, powerful, all of it. Right? It was. They were beating, and they were putting them in the dirt. Right? That's what Mason Johnstone told me. He's like they call it the dirt rig because they can run the football. Phil Maffa, Will Shipley, even using the legs at times, or the creativity of Cade Klubnik with his legs at times. The run game was immaculate. The passing game was now, guys. This is an instant reaction. You know me. I'm gonna go watch the tape, see what coverage they were playing. How was the defensive backs? What was their leverage? What was their responsibility? Were they trying to stop for anything short? Were they playing deep? Was this a situation where it's like, you know what, we have to take what they give us? If that's the case, fine. But you know what I didn't like? The screens, the dump offs, the routes, the plays behind or at the line of scrimmage that first of all, those plays they're not quick plays, like, because you're trying to invite the defensive line forward, and then dumping the ball down, and all that does is once the DBs and linebackers realize that the D line is getting through, and they see the picture forming of the offensive lineman and the running back following, and it's clearly a screenplay or a wide receiver you trying to throw a tunnel screen, whatever. It was too many of those short line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage throws that they even had a couple on first down, if I remember correctly, that went for negative yards. So when you ask the question, Garrett Riley, what was that? Like, it was not what we expected. Okay, yeah, I know, like, for me, watching that TCU offense, and don't get it twisted, guys, there is no Darius Davis, there is no actual Quentin Johnston on this offense, right? We all get it. We know that. But I watched Max Duggan, who's a far less talented quarterback than Cade Klubnik, play well, right? And that's the thing, is just, again, I gotta watch the film. But what was that? I gotta keep asking this question, because everybody on Twitter, everybody's saying the same thing. They didn't go down the field much, right? So it's like, okay, was it a issue with the offensive line? I mean, there were some moments where you felt like Cade was sped up a little bit because of the blocking in that game. But at the same time, if I'm looking, I got to pull up the stats here. How many sacks were allowed, right? It really wasn't much to look at in terms of, okay, well, like, did they give up so much pressure, and was it consistent? I don't recall that. I don't even see that with the numbers right now, just the bare numbers. I don't have the PFF stuff at the moment, because they would have, that stuff is typically not available to, like, the next day for like 24 hours or something like that. But, like, third downs, great stuff. 7 of 15. Duke was 5 of 15, right? But you were 0 of 2 on fourth down. You 43 pass attempts, 27 completions, average yard per pass 4.9. Duke was at 5.1. What? Oh my God. And here's the crazy part. Duke had more penalties. Duke did not win this football game. Clemson lost it. 5 trips into the red zone. No points. Except for one. Outside of that one touchdown, no points in the red zone. Seriously. So, yeah, Garrett Riley, I'm confused, brother, because I was one that was hyped for you. I like the offense I saw, and the spacing and the tempo. The tempo, but see, that's the thing with tempo. Tempo only looks good when you are ahead of the chains and you're getting production going forward. You're gaining yards, right? And everything is manageable. That's when that tempo looked great. But, like, what? I didn't see any And again, I've not watched the film yet. This is right after the game. I did not see any type of passing concepts where I felt like you put Cade Klubnik and the receivers in the best position. Now people are like, well, they don't have the top tier receivers. Listen, now there were some drops. Antonio Williams had a drop, Cole Turner had a drop, and Randall had a drop. Like there was the players definitely had their hand in this, right? But at the same time, you know, just the scheme in itself, I didn't, if you feel like the receivers were struggling to get open, which again, I don't know if that was, especially down the field, I don't know if that was the biggest truth. But if that's the case, then you create rub routes. You know what I mean? You create those type of plays. And with the way Duke was playing, they're willing to trigger downhill on the quick stuff. Double pump, a pump and go. Well, you know what I mean? You've thrown so many freaking lateral screens that you could have went to a screen and go where you have Adam Randall or Cole Turner or Antonio Williams, whoever is the blocker, selling that block, going up the sideline. You pump the screen and then you take it over the top because they have triggered downhill. So I'm not telling you how to do your job. I'm just saying that I don't know what you did with your job tonight. That was very, very, very. I don't know. That's why I asked the question: is what was that? Because I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. That was wild. Just to see that was wild. Um, the offensive miscues, the poor passing concepts, not taking shots down the field. That's not how you win. That's not how you win. Because if anything, guys, listen, they're going to take away what you. They're going to force you into those type of plays. Force you into quick dump offs. Force you into the short plays. Force you to run the ball 40 times. How many times they run the ball tonight? Let me go back. I mean, how many times? I said 40. No, I know it's no way they ran it. Oh, no, they did. They definitely did. 40 carries, 43 pass attempts, right? So very balanced, very balanced. But again, I don't want my quarterback taking 43 pass attempts. Like that's just not what I want to see. So yeah, yep. What was that? Somebody tell me. I don't know. I mean, the film will tell me when I watch the film. The film will let me know. But as of right now, I have no idea what I just watched. Yeah, but the next segment, guys, we're going to talk about it. Are the Clemson Tigers better than this? Yes, they are. They are better than what we saw. And I'm going to tell you why coming up next on the Locked On Clemson podcast. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Guys, right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets guaranteed. Let me repeat myself. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers, not just new customers, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is super easy to use, guys, and you can bet on everything from spreads, player props, money lines, you name it, they have it. You can do all of that and more. So visit fanduel.com/locked on and kick off the NFL season with an offer you will not want to miss. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. All right, guys, let's end this. Let's end this painful discussion. Are the Clemson Tigers better than what we watched? Yes. Yes, they are. Okay. I know defensively they had some miscues themselves, right? They had missed tackles that allowed the running game and things like that. Like, the Riley Leonard one that went for 44. Barrett Carter had him wrapped up in the backfield, thought he had him dead to rights, and I believe it was a third down, and he fought through. They couldn't corral the quarterback. And what happened? Very simple. He took it 44 yards for a touchdown. So they are better than this because outside of that, right? And even the last, like Jordan Waters, who had that 36-yard touchdown run late in the game. Before that run, right? Before that run, he had 10 attempts. Okay, he had 10 attempts, and because he ended up with like 63 yards for the game. Yeah, 36 yard. He averaged 2.7 yards per carry before that attempt. So he was the run game for Duke really was just kind of some big plays, right? Big lucky plays, you could say, but big plays in the run game. The 44 yard and 36 yard. They had another run for like 21. But overall, like their run game, like outside of their early success, in the game, like for the most part, the Clemson's defense did their job. They took care of it. You know what I mean? You look at 17, a quarterback going 17 of 33 for 175 yards for 5.3 yards per attempt. That's Riley Leonard's passing stat line. He didn't have a single receiver over 50 yards receiving. Jalen Calhoun, his number one wide receiver, listen to the stat line. 5 catches, 32 yards, 6.4 yards per attempt. His longest catch went for 10. Jordan Waters had 3 for 46, and his was a 25-yarder that I believe was a screen or a leak out or something like that. Jaquez Moore had had a 28-yard, one catch for 28 yards. I think that was a dump off, or a leak out as well. But Jordan Moore, the other receiver, 3 catches for 20 yards. Like the defense did their job. The run game did its job. 40 carries, 213 yards, and 5.3 yards per attempt. Right. And that's what Cade, because in college, Cade had 12 carries for 34 yards and he was like 2.8 yards per attempt. But, they also factor in sacks into the rushing yards for QBs. But nonetheless, that's what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at this and I'm like, Clemson's better than this. Antonio Williams can get open. You know what I mean? Bo Collins, he was clearly open on multiple throws. Working back towards the quarterback, comeback routes, kind of pivot outside, things like that. Quick, outbreakers and stuff. He was getting open, right? I got this. Tyler Brown is a guy I need to see more of. And Cole Turner, you got to catch those passes, bro. Simple as that. Clemson's better than this because again, they left on the field, right? 2 field goals, 6 points. And 2 potential 7-point scores in the red zone, right? 2 touchdowns, 14, 6. What? Like they left points on the field, on the board. They left points on the field. So yes, when I say that they are better than this, they are. And I'm not going to overreact to this one game. Now, this is not how I wanted to start the season for you guys, right? Especially after we had such a great time pregame. I did not expect to see this. But again, the point is, Clemson is better than this. Defensively, they're going to be better. They were for the most part, they were good. Secondary did their job. Andrew McCouba was a star. Okay, he was a star out there. Stud. RJ Mickens doing his thing. Both of those guys played great ball for the most part, man. You know what I mean? But everything else just is snowballed. It snowballed. And I felt like the emotions of the team got down when they made those plays, but then they were fine. They were picking themselves up. Dabo has to do what he has to do as a coach and get these guys prepared for the next 3 weeks. They got to blow out these next 2 teams, and they get ready for that juggernaut that is Florida State after what we saw from them, versus LSU. But at the end of the day, the question is, are the Clemson Tigers better than this? Yes, they are. I do believe they are better than this. I believe the wide receivers are better than this. Again, for me, it's just whatever. As a coach, you understand what your players are great at. You understand what they don't excel at. And what is your job? Your job is simple. Put them in the positions to be great. Put them in the positions to excel. Who are your best playmakers? Get the ball to them in space, right? There's so many different ways that you could have gotten the receivers open. So yes, these things are fixable. So a lot of these things are correctable. No, there's no T. Higgins or freshman Justin Ross or Sammy Watkins in this room. No, I can attest to that. I don't think these guys are on that level. But what I will say is this: they are better as a team than what they displayed here tonight versus the Duke Blue Devils to kick off week 1 of the Clemson Tigers 2023 college football season. So, end of the day, tough loss, bad loss, leave a bad taste in your mouth. You just don't like it. But guys, that is our show. Thank y'all for those who were willing to tap in with me today. Thank y'all. But I think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. Florida State is it's Florida State is 2 weeks away, about 2-3 weeks away. We got weeks 2 and 3, and then they come to our house. They enter the death. They walk in the Death Valley, and things would be a little different in terms of crowd and level of comfort for Clemson and everything like that. So just get your minds right. Don't sulk. Deal with this loss, and we're gonna prepare to be better next time out. But guys, like I said, thank y'all. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. To get the latest episode as soon as it's available. Like I said, I'm going to break down the tape, so I'll come and let you guys know in the community chat once I get the film, once I watch it, so you can go and check it out on the Patreon account and everything. So listen, I appreciate y'all on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Remember, for the algorithm, comment, talk to me, because I do talk back, but also hit the bell notification so you're notified whenever I drop content on the channel. Other than that, guys, on Twitter, you can find me DP_NFL. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Go Tigers.